What's up, everybody? Welcome back into an episode of The Lawyer You Know. And today we are giving a Karen Reed update, all things Karen Reed, because she has four new lawyers that have just entered notices of appearance in the civil case against the O'Keefes at this point. And we're going to do a deep dive, take a look at their firm, why they've added these lawyers. Did they really need more lawyers? We're going to take a look at some of the lawyers that withdrew. I think I've seen three that withdrew. So she's adding one more lawyer to this army of lawyers that she has so far. Why did she switch from one firm to the next? What can we learn from looking at these two law firms? What are some of their differences? What are some of their specialties? And why might a client switch law firms at a time like this during the civil case? I've got some ideas. I've got some general knowledge on how this works and how people switch lawyers and why, because I do see some potential reasons why she might want to do something like this. It could also be as simple as the insurance company wanted to pick a new law firm and it was time for a switch, or there was a personality exchange that one side didn't like as much as the other. And so they decided to part ways. So there's obviously the simple explanations. But if we look a little deeper at these firms, there might be some other reasons for that. And we're going to take a look at the most recent member of the Canton Police Department that's been bounced. Why were they bounced? Who is it? Will we find that out today or sometime in the future? Make sure you guys hit that like button. Let's get to it. So we're going to start out by taking a look at the lawyers that are no longer on Karen Reed's defense team. And like I said, in cases like this, because right now it is a kind of run-of-the-mill wrongful death case based on a car accident. There are the emotional distress claims as well. We know nothing about this case is actually run-of-the-mill, but where you're alleging that somebody hit your loved one with their car that caused them to pass away, that's a pretty common wrongful death case. Almost any defense firm in America can handle a case like that. All these defense firms that represent insurance companies that are representing the clients on behalf of the insurance company, basically, but the insurance company is usually the one footing the bill. From time to time, they will switch lawyers throughout the case and switch law firms throughout the case. What's already been interesting about this for Karen, from Karen Reed's perspective, is there have already been multiple law firms with multiple lawyers filing notices of appearance in this case. We know Damon Seligson, who did most of the arguing in most of the hearings that we've watched in the civil defense case. We're going to take a look at their firm. They are still on the list. Sheehan Finney. Alan Jackson has spoken about them and how talented this team is. Speaking of Alan Jackson, he and multiple members of his law firm are part of this civil defense team. So that's two civil defense firms. And then we get to Mellick Porter, which is yet a third civil defense firm that is on this case at this point. They have now all filed motions to withdraw. I believe it was everybody that was from this firm that was on Karen Reed's team. This is unusual. Usually there's not three or four defense firms involved at the same time. One defense firm, especially when we take a look at how huge Sheehan Finney is, can handle this. No matter how many associates or how many resources are necessary to handle this, big defense firms across the country handle cases like this very commonly on their own. Now, from time to time, a defense or defendant will hire personal counsel. That's where Alan Jackson's firm comes in to represent Karen Reed and just look out for Karen Reed. And sometimes you got to fight against the insurance company. Sometimes you got to fight against your own lawyers with the insurance defense firm as a defendant personally. And if Karen Reed needs anything like that, or somebody specifically looking out for her interests, that's what Alan Jackson is there for. Not to say Seligson and his firm are not looking out for Karen Reed. They are, but usually how it works, and I don't know what their payment arrangement is, but usually the Sheehan Finney firm, the big insurance defense firms, are paid by the insurance company, not by Karen Reed herself. They pay for the experts and things like that. Personal counsel, usually paid for by Karen Reed, but sometimes the insurance company will pay for them as well. It can create issues as to, conflicts of interest. Do we need conflict counsel in here now, in the future? And something like that could be going on. I don't know. I would guess not. It feels more like just a lawyer or law firm switch than it does something major going on in the background. So it could just be a simple, we want to switch firms. It's kind of strange though, because insurance companies kind of have their pick and they can decide who is going to switch. So let's take a look now at the lawyers that are withdrawing. We'll take a look at their firm, and then we'll take a look at the lawyers that are coming on, and we'll take a look at their firm and trying to see if we can find any other reason that this switch might be happening, because I have thought of a couple reasons. One major reason. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the notice of withdrawal. Kindly withdraw the appearance of the undersigned Christopher George as counsel of record for the defendant, and he works for Mellick Porter. Okay, that's the firm we're going to look at. Kindly withdraw the appearance for Marissa Palladini from Mellick Porter. And then lastly, kindly withdraw the appearance of William Kevel, who is also with Mellick Porter. So you noticed the common denominator there is they all work for Mellick Porter, who is an insurance defense firm. So let's take a look at their website. And we have no indication that it's somebody did something wrong or somebody screwed up. I heard Buzang also withdrew and he got replaced. And a lot of people were saying he did such a horrible job in the hearing before. It wasn't necessarily the best lawyering I've ever seen. I didn't see that exchange. You guys didn't have any questions about that. You had a ton of questions about this. So that's why we're doing the video on this one and not that, because you guys drive the content here. So here's Mellick Porter, okay? Committed to exceeding your expectations. Trial lawyers, one of the best insurance defense law firms in New England. Okay, there's going to be a commonality here that we're going to look at. Here are all of the, on the right side, all of the different practice areas they practice in. Okay, and we're going to take a look at some of them. And then we see Kevel was one of Karen Reed's lawyers. It seems like he is one of the bosses there. Okay, so we see what they kind of look like here. And now I want to take a look at the team, just to give you an idea. Okay, here are the attorney profiles. There's a lot. It's a big firm, which, you know, some people like that, some people don't. To each their own. If you want a big firm, you can pick a big firm. All of these big firms, of course, say things like, is this the firm that said, I think it might have been a different firm, or it might have been this one. I don't know. Some of them say like big firm lawyers or big firm results, small firm feel, big firm resources, small firm touch, or whatever it may be, right? And it is what it is. Lawyers, their clients are always looking for different things, you know, whatever it may be, to each their own. That's not really going to be that important here, but you can see just how big it is. Okay, here's their roster. But what is going to be important? What are their practice areas? And what is it that Karen Reed and team are looking to do? So we can pick anything here. General liability, because that can be a lot of different things. How do they describe general liability? We have defended homeowners, motor vehicle operators, restaurants, taverns, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so clearly focused on defense. Let's take a look at, my nose just started running for no reason, so that's annoying. Let's look at work comp, which can be a plaintiff side, right? There are work comp plaintiffs attorneys and there's work comp defense attorneys, of course. What do they hold themselves out to be? Well, we counsel self-insured employers, insurance companies. We effectively defend a high volume of workers' compensation cases. They defend these cases, not prosecute, not on the plaintiff side. Hold on, I got to blow my nose. So they hold themselves out again to be defense attorneys. What is workers' compensation defense? How you put together your website is usually what you want people to see and the types of clients you're looking for. Products liability, again, something that you can have plaintiffs' lawyers or defense lawyers on, depending on how they explain the work that they do. Well, they discuss how they handle these cases and they defend these cases. They understand how to represent companies. They handle serious personal injury and wrongful death cases. Okay, this is the only one that I wanted to point out because this is the only one that may have some monicum of plaintiff side. They don't necessarily come out and say it. I mean, this says an effective defense, which again, if I'm trying to look and find something that may be plaintiff-y on this website, that would be the only one. But the vast majority of everything they say on this website is that they are a defense firm, mostly insurance defense, which is exactly what Karen Reed is doing right now in her case. So let's take that real quick and let's compare it to Seligsohn's firm, who is staying on, by the way. Let's take a look here. Okay. Creative thinkers, exceptional results. They're New England's premier firm, almost exactly what the other firm said. Here we go. Big firm experience, small firm touch, creative solutions, community give back. Okay. So this is all how they're promoting themselves, which is all fine. Practice areas, same thing. For the most part, all defense. Okay. Our firm. Who are we? Oh, actually, no, sorry. I wanted to go for, I guess we can look at the who are we. I didn't look at this beforehand. 75 plus attorneys, 5 offices, 80 plus years of providing legal services. Okay. So again, focusing on how big they are, their firm accomplishments, fine. And the reason I'm showing you this, and now we're going to take a look at the attorneys here. Whenever they have like a find an attorney with this type of stuff, you know you're looking at a big firm. So if I just scroll through here pretty quick, you get the gist of what I'm trying to show you here. They are a big firm, big defense firm. That to me is 2 similarities between the firm that just got removed and then Sheehan Finney, who is staying on the case. Okay. So they have a big defense firm already on the case with the big firm experience, big firm resources, lots of lawyers if they need an associate to cover something or somebody to explain something to Karen Reed or even Alan Jackson. Here's how the civil litigation works over here in Massachusetts. Can you take an hour call and explain this to me? They've got all the attorneys in the world that can handle something like that. I got a jump start on Christmas gifts this year, especially for my wife, because it's always hard to find something different for her that will be a surprise. My first stop was today's sponsor, Uncommon Goods, because not only do they have things you can't find anywhere else, they have Christmas themed gifts and sections you can look through. I picked out this Christmas shop for my wife's Christmas village because it's a DIY kit. So me and my son are going to work on putting it together. And I'm actually really glad that I got an early start because it's going to give us time to put it together. And I want to give it to her early while she's decorating for Christmas. And she can actually put it in her Christmas village. And she'll love the fact that my son and I spent time together putting this special gift together for her for Christmas. So that really is the gift that gives. Uncommon Goods has so many cool and unique gifts for every holiday and birthday, or if you're just looking for yourself, which I did as well. Every time I look at their website, they have so many things that make me think of other people, which is how I like to buy gifts. So you guys should check it out. And thank you to Uncommon Goods for sponsoring this episode. Because of that, you can get 15% off your next gift by clicking the link in the description below. So maybe that other firm, Merrick Porter, is that what it was? Mellick Porter. So maybe that other firm was withdrawn or removed because it wasn't necessary because they were too duplicative of the Sheehan Finney firm. Okay. That could be one of the reasons. Told you I'm going to look for some of the potential reasons and based on my experience, why defendants or even plaintiffs have changed firms in cases that I've been a part of. So now let's take a look at what lawyers have joined the case. So notice of appearance. Please enter my appearance as counsel for Karen Reed within the matter. Arthur Maravellis. Okay, that's number 1. Enter my appearance, Thomas Tang. That's number 2. By the way, Tang Maravellis. You'll notice the 2 named partners, which means the 2 bosses of the firm have joined Karen Reed's defense team. You notice that Mellick and Porter were not on the team and Sheehan and Finney were not on the team. By the way, they could be no longer with us. Lots of times it's the founding partners on those other big firms. They pass away and they keep the same name. So I don't even know if they still exist, but some clients really like to have the named partner, founding partner, managing partner, whatever it may be on the team and they want to hire them specifically. That could be a reason. I don't know, but there's a couple more lawyers from this firm. Sarah Shipley, enter her appearance, also of Tang and Maravellis. And lastly, Michael Bell, also of Tang and Maravellis. So 4 lawyers from the same firm. Let's now take a look at this firm website. All right. So here we go. This is their firm website. By the way, I don't know if you can see this, but the header that they have on the website is Burlington Insurance Defense Firm. So this is still an insurance defense firm. Do not get it twisted. We're not saying this is a plaintiff's firm by any stretch of the imagination that just handles personal injury cases like my firm would, where we are only on the plaintiff side of wrongful death cases. I would never and have never represented an insurance company. I never would do that. Very specialized and hyper-focused on the injured victims and the plaintiff side. Those other firms that we've looked at seem to be very focused on the defense side, representing big companies, corporations, insurance companies, businesses, right? Employers, like everything we looked at. But let's take a look at this Tang and Marivelis firm. Experienced, trusted litigators. Tang and Marivelis is a firm of trial attorneys dedicated to providing professional legal services to insurance companies. That's where they start with. Self-insured entities, also on the Goliath side. Businesses, corporations, municipalities, and individuals. So they go ahead and throw it in there at the end. They also represent David, right? They also represent the individuals. With offices and attorneys in Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, and Maine, our firm can fulfill your legal needs throughout New England. They are respected trial attorneys. At Tang and Marivelis, we are always ready to protect your interests at all stages of the litigation process, including civil discovery, motion practice, arbitration, alternative dispute resolution, jury and bench trials, and civil appeals. Interesting, they also do appeals. But yeah, I mean, all this is important if you understand the process, because there's a lot more of this than there is jury trials, but all very important. Our team tailors our services to each client's specific situation, no matter how complex. Then we customize fruitful, productive legal strategies to meet your needs. Clients benefit from our emphasis on open communication, quick response times, utilization of the most advanced computer technologies, and constant attention to detail. It's so funny because all of these sound so the same, even probably ours sound the same. And I remember when we're writing them, we'll come up with stuff, and the people that build websites are like, oh, you probably want to throw some stuff like innovative in there and cutting edge. We can handle your legal matter from start to finish or take over at any stage of litigation. Okay, that's good. They even promote that they can take over at any stage of litigation, which is what they're doing here, including last-minute trial representation. Our full-service firm is with you every step of the way. So now let's take a look at their practice areas right here, okay? The top three that they handle: insurance defense, insurance coverage, which is also kind of on the defense side, and personal injury litigation. Isn't that interesting? Let's take a look at what they mean by personal injury. Do they just mean the defense side? Because a lot of these defense firms, like I said, only handle the defense side. Attorneys with proven trial skills representing injured individuals. We take pride in our reputation for providing high-quality legal services and zealously advocating for our clients. You have our assurance that we will work closely with you to design a winning strategy. Your case outcome and long-term well-being will be the twin focuses of all that we do. Our experienced trial lawyers represent injured individuals in a wide range of personal injury matters, including personal injury, automobile accident, wrongful death, med mal, nursing home, slip and fall, dog bite, bicycle, premises, construction site accidents. What's not listed on this? 1983 actions. But is a 1983 action a personal injury case? My answer to you would be yes, because someone was damaged by having their civil rights violated. So that's the type of lawyer that would usually handle it, is on the personal injury side. The civil trial lawyer that handles plaintiffs that have been damaged at no fault of their own. We are dedicated to achieving optimal results for every client in a cost-effective manner. While we are experienced trial lawyers who are thoroughly prepared to represent our clients in the courtroom, often we are able to successfully resolve cases through alternative dispute resolution methods such as settlement conferences, mediation, arbitration, and private negotiations. Then you can contact their office, okay? So we may never know this. This is kind of strategy in the background between insurance companies, defendants like Karen Reed, the other lawyers on the case, the other law firms on the case. Maybe somebody from Jackson's firm is friends with somebody from here, or somebody from Sheehan Finney's like, I work better with this firm, or maybe they're really good at handling specific experts. I don't know. But to me, to have some lawyers experienced on the plaintiff's side seems like a good point of attack for Karen Reed's team. Maybe it had something to do with it. Maybe it didn't. I know that there are people in Jackson's firm that have experience on the plaintiff personal injury side, on the 1983 action side. So it's not like they didn't have some of this already. Let's take a look at one last thing here. We're going to look at each of these individual lawyers. But before we look at the individual lawyers, we remember before they had 3 of that other firm, Mellick Porter, 3 of, I don't know, 50 lawyers. I don't know how many lawyers they have. And then Sheehan, I think they said they had, 75 plus lawyers. So now at Tang Maravellis, Karen Reed has 4 new lawyers that have entered notice of appearance out of 5 in this picture. Usually you have photographed the lawyers that are actively working in your practice, but it looks like there are 5, 6, 7, 8 lawyers total. Senior counsel usually means they're not working a ton. Maybe they're helping with some stuff, but I also don't really know what director means. I assume partner, since we have 1 associate. I assume director is different than associate. Maybe it's like a non-equity partner or junior partner. But so if we're just saying out of these 6 people that are partners or directors, which seem like the higher profile lawyers in the firm, so out of 6, 1 Thomas Tang, 2 Arthur Maravellis, 3 Sarah Shipley, and 4 Michael Bell have joined Karen Reed's defense team. 4 out of 6. So to me, that's showing she has this firm's entire attention. Not to say the big firms, can't give you attention or whatever, but big firm experience, small firm touch. But when you have 4 of the 6 lawyers filing notice of appearances on your claim, they are paying attention to your case. So let's take a look at each of the ones that have joined her team. Mr. Tang is a founding partner, because there are 2, of the firm. He is admitted to practice in the state courts of Massachusetts and Connecticut, the Federal Court of Massachusetts, and the United States Supreme Court. Mr. Tang has successfully mediated, arbitrated, and tried numerous cases to verdict in Massachusetts Superior Court and District Court. He handles complex matters involving corporate law, liquor liability, trucking accidents, motor vehicle torts, premises liability, insurance coverage, and reinsurance, construction litigation, bad faith litigation, workers' comp, subrogation, products liability, and environmental law. Mr. Tang has spoken at numerous lectures and seminars at the American Licensed Beverage Association Conference in Las Vegas to the nightclub and bar industry on dram shop liability and how to protect their assets. Interesting, right? We have some of that here, even though not against Karen Reed. He went to New England School of Law and Boston College. Here's where he's admitted. And then the professional association. So honors, he's a super lawyer. Great. A lot of them are going to be super lawyers. This is interesting to me. Massachusetts Defense Lawyers Association Board of Directors, 2007 to 2023. So he's been on the board forever at probably their big state bar for defense lawyers. Sometimes they will not allow people that practice plaintiff's work to be in these associations or to be on the board. So how much plaintiff's work does the firm actually handle, if any? It says they do some. And how much does he do? Defense Research Institute. So all really defense, to me, defense focused for him, for the most part. Okay, let's go back here and take a look at Mr. Maravellis, another founding partner. His practice focuses on defending matters involving municipal, construction, transportation, general liability, and product liability litigation in the state and federal courts of Massachusetts and New Hampshire, and the State Court of Maine. Additionally, his practice concentrates on insurance coverage, bad faith litigation, and subrogation. He has successfully tried numerous cases to verdict in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. He's written and spoken at numerous lectures and seminars on topics related to automobile litigation, employment practices, municipal law, and expert witness examination. So maybe they've got some kind of specialty here. But every lawyer, honestly, at this level should be able to handle expert witnesses. He went to Suffolk University Law School, graduated cum laude, and was the editor of Law Review, which to me tells me he was a very, very, very smart student and a good student if you graduate cum laude and if you're on Law Review and you're the editor. He is also on the Defense Research Institute and a Massachusetts Defense Lawyer Association member, but not on the board of directors. Okay, so just some minor differences there. Next, let's take a look at Sarah Shipley. Ms. Shipley's practice focuses on civil litigation in state and federal courts of Massachusetts with a particular concentration on insurance coverage disputes. So number one, it doesn't just say defense here, okay? Civil litigation. Her area of his practice include general litigation, bad faith litigation, employment, insurance defense, municipal law, premises liability, and subrogation. So to me, again, you could have just said defending all these matters like some of the other lawyers did. But to her, seems like maybe she does a little plaintiff's work, but it's a stretch. She went to Boston College, graduated in 2010. She also graduated cum laude and was on the Law Journal, Journal of Law and Social Justice. She was the editor. She is also a member of the Massachusetts Defense Lawyers Association. So is this really a firm that has experience in plaintiff's work? Remains to be seen. I also don't see, so it says personal injury litigation. I didn't see it on either of the others, and I don't necessarily see it here either. Okay, let's go back to the team. Let's take a look at Michael Bell. Mr. Bell focuses on civil litigation in state courts of Massachusetts. His areas of practice are motor vehicle, products, premises, general litigation, insurance cover, subrogation. Prior to joining the firm, Mr. Bell worked as an associate at a Massachusetts law firm focusing on civil litigation. By far, the most vague explanation of what he handles. And you don't see the word defense here in this paragraph. Could mean he's the one that handles personal injury litigation, but again, I don't see it here. So if he did, I would assume this would be here on his practice areas. He is also a member of the Massachusetts Defense Lawyers Association. He is also a super lawyer. He went to Wheaton College and graduated from Northeastern in 2016. So also the youngest lawyer on the crew here. But does he have experience handling the personal injury side? I don't know. I don't know any of these law firms, never worked with any of these law firms, but I'm trying to see why would they switch at this juncture? And we expect that we're going to get the affirmative claims or the counterclaim or the new lawsuit with all these other all these other new defendants, right? Because that's what was teased. That's what we're waiting for. It's been a little while. It's been enough time for them to draft that document. Seligson led the charge, so he may still be continuing to lead the charge. But why would they bring in this law firm at this point? They've added 4 lawyers, removed 3. So it seems like, again, she went +1 on the lawyers that are going to be added to her team, which already seemed like we had plenty of them. But everything should be purposeful that you do at this point. Everything should be intentional. Nothing should be just because, and nothing should be done for posture's sake, right? I don't think they needed to add a lawyer just to add a lawyer. My guess is there is a method to this madness, and we will see how it all comes to pass. And if now that they have this new firm, if they take an active role in this litigation, in this trial, if they take an active role in drafting this new document that we expect will be filed maybe this week, we'll see. But that's not the only news in the Karen Reed case. I was also tagged all over Twitter on this little number, which is from the town of Canton for immediate release today, November 3rd, 2025. This is a statement from the town of Canton. Canton. The following is a statement from the town of Canton. On Friday, October 24th, the town of Canton was notified of allegations of misconduct concerning a member of the town's police department. Although the town is unable to share confidential personnel information due to laws governing employee privacy, there are some facts that the town can share in an effort to ensure transparency and to keep members of the town's community informed of ongoing matters. Really? They want to be transparent, they really do. But they can't share certain things because of employee confidentiality and employee privacy. Really? Okay, let's see how much information. If you lived in Canton, let me know if this is enough information to make you feel safe and informed. Because that's what they want. They want the members of the town of Canton to feel informed. Immediately after becoming aware of the allegations, the town engaged an independent investigator to conduct a thorough administrative investigation into the allegations of misconduct. The member of the town's police department under administrative investigation was placed on paid administrative leave on Friday, October 24th, pending the outcome of the administrative investigation. Due to the ongoing nature of the investigation, the town is unable to provide additional details at this time. So yet again, another member of Canton PD or MSP being paid to not work. At what point are the politicians going to be held accountable for all of this and for all of the wasted taxpayer dollars that have been thrown around in this case? And I mean, just imagine if the Karen Read case never happened, if the Karen Read case never caught national public attention, if they never even arrested Karen Read, right? Think of how long all of this would have happened for, and how much of this corruption and negativity would have been going on in the background in the town of Canton. I know a lot of you guys already knew this existed before the Karen Read case. I didn't. But for Bill Read and the entire family, right, that's been mourning this and just having just to deal with this every single day of their life. And I think he's probably of the ilk that good things can come out of horrible situations. I think he probably believes that based on some of his personal and religious beliefs that I think he has shared and have been out there on the internet. God can use bad things for good, right? And sometimes that can just be a comforting thing to say, and people don't actually mean it or don't actually think it. But if we try to look at situations like that, or we try to see the glass as half full, and a lot of times when we're in the storm, we can't see the other side. And sometimes things happen after we die that can be good and legacies left from our life or difficult things that we've gone through. So for me, as I look at this, if I'm a member of the town of Canton or just anywhere in the United States, right, this could happen anywhere, to see that a light is being shown, light being shown or shined, that corruption is being called out, that law enforcement can't just keep their job forever because they're law enforcement and they protect each other, that good cops maybe want to point out bad cops, like we saw in the trial. Some good cops came and testified against the narrative of the Commonwealth and against what all the other cops were testifying to, highlighting good cops, good police work, calling out bad cops and bad police work, getting them transferred out of town, fired, put on administrative leave. It might not be perfect. It might not be exactly what everybody wants, but at the very least, it's baby steps in the right direction. And while I wish we knew who, I wish we knew how, I wish we knew why, I wish we knew what here, stuff is happening. People are being put on notice. People are being held accountable, at least somewhat. And while you might not trust the town of Canton or the board or, law enforcement there, the Canton PD or MSP, I get it. And I think they've got to earn that trust back. But these are baby steps in that direction. Here's the final quote from this message. The town and the town's police department take all allegations of misconduct seriously. Now, that could be a major eye roll or like, yeah, right. But hopefully they take it more seriously than they used to. And it seems like maybe that's true. Members of the town's police department are expected to perform their duties in a professional manner. If you're going to say something like this, that members of the police department are expected to perform their duties in a professional manner, then you better hold them to that standard. And when these allegations of misconduct are made based on unprofessionalism and people being in fear that they're just going to do whatever they want, they're going to say something or do something or hurt somebody or tell somebody to lie or use somebody or take someone's life and ask their buddies to cover it up or look the other way, that's going to be called out, and it better be taken seriously. The town is committed to providing the quality and level of service that the citizens of Canton deserve from their police department. I agree. They're saying the right things. Are they doing it? To that end, we will take the necessary steps to ensure that actions by individual officers do not jeopardize that quality and level of service. So is this just lip service? Is this just another time Canton PD is not taking responsibility for what their officers are doing? Is this them just trying to kick the can down the road, hoping to get some of the pressure off of them because people are having problems with this? Now, what are the reasons? Who is the officer? We don't know those answers. People can speculate that it has to do with Proctor's texts. I heard people saying some name that was included on there and they think he might get suspended or heard he's going to get suspended or a little birdie told me this or that. I don't know. I don't know who it is. I don't know why it is. I don't know how long the suspension is. I guess it's, indefinitely until the investigation is over. All right. So I said we didn't know who this Canton PD officer was that was being put on paid leave. That might have changed. It seems like this is legit. A lot of you guys are tagging me on Twitter. Hopefully, I didn't get spoofed here, but it is possible. And it's not that hard of a document to completely edit and make it look exactly the same. But for immediate release, November 3rd, this is the statement of Town of Canton and Interim Canton Police Chief Joseph Perkins. The following is a statement from the Town of Canton Interim Canton Police Chief Joseph Perkins on Friday, October 24th, which again, I believe is the day Proctor's phone contents were released. So that's why people are putting this together. And there's been a lot of conjecture as to who this could be, and that it does have to do with potential text message conversations, and especially some of the sensitive or intimate conversations that should have been happening from Proctor and other people, and protecting certain people's names and things like that. People speculate it could be connected to that. But on Friday, October 24th, the Town of Canton was notified of allegations of misconduct concerning a member of the town's police department, which was discovered during an investigation into a former member of a different law enforcement agency. Who do we think that is? A different member of a different law enforcement agency, which sounds like Michael Proctor of MSP, but we don't know that to be true. Immediately after becoming aware of the allegations, the town engaged an independent investigator to conduct a thorough administrative investigation into the allegations of misconduct. Sergeant Sean Good was immediately placed on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of that internal affairs investigation. The Town of Canton and the Canton Police Department take this matter very seriously, as this is an active and ongoing administrative investigation. No additional information is available for release at this time. So I appreciate that this updated statement, if it's real, gave us the person's name. Still protecting some of the information. And of course, this is just an investigation and an allegation of misconduct. They're going to look into it, see if it's legit, see if it's true. This was someone that was a very big and important witness in the first trial. Someone who I believe worked with Miss Dever, and was, in the group and the posse and friends with everybody. And we'll put a picture of him up on the screen here so that you can remember what he looked like. I don't think he even testified the second trial, did he? I can't remember, but I don't remember him testifying in trial number 2. I could be wrong. You guys can correct me in the comments if I am wrong, but I definitely remember him from trial 1. A lot of interesting points came off. I think Yannetti crossed him. Again, this is just off memory. I could be wrong. I have a memory of Yannetti asking him certain questions, but not a good look. He could be on paid administrative leave. Looks like potentially, from the context of this potentially legitimate statement, that they're referencing his connection to Proctor in this unpaid leave, but we'll have to see where this goes from here. But just wanted to clip this in at the end as a little update and see if you guys had questions and comments about it in the comment section. So let me know. I look forward to looking at them in a little bit. But they are putting it out there that they want their officers to be professional. They want people to tell them when they see misconduct. They want to take it seriously, and they want the members, people that live in Canton, to feel safe and secure and informed, and like they have the ability to complain when they see officer misconduct, because not every town feels that way. Maybe Canton felt that way not too long ago. So are we at least moving in the right direction? If you guys have any other questions about the lawyers, the law firms, this situation with, Canton PD, go ahead and throw them in the comments. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to our page. Whenever you tell me there's some Karen Reed updates that you guys have questions about, I will do my best to respond and answer the bat signal and come and answer your questions. Hopefully we have the new document filing so we know who the defendants are, what the claims are, and we can break that down together. You better believe I'm waiting on that. I'm very interested in that. But until next time, that's all we got. I am out of here. Thanks for watching another episode of The Lawyer You Know. If you enjoyed the episode, please hit the thumbs up and share with your friends who may be interested here on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, Facebook, and TikTok. And don't forget to check out the Lawyer You Know podcast, featuring new episodes every week. And if you have a case that you want to personally talk to us about in your life, if it's a personal injury case, wrongful death, catastrophic injury, car accident, truck accident, or slip and fall case, please email us at lawyeryouknow@gmail.com. And of course, all these links I just mentioned are included in the description below on this episode and every episode. So until next time, this is Peter Tragos, The Lawyer You Know.